Welcome everyone. I'll be doing this once in a while now. Out of fashion, this is my first video. So let's talk about sex educating our teenagers. It can be so worrisome onto parents to educate. Educate your child. So all over the world, it has been so challenging for parents, especially in Africa because of our cultural value. So, what then is sex educating our teenagers? Sex education has to be a kind of a process where you have to prepare your child on sex education from childhood, from a baby to a toddler to a teenager. So it won't be that difficult by the time they get to the teenage age when you start preparing them through sex education. So, what is the right age to start sex education educating your child? Yeah, the answer is as soon as you notice your child has discovered or she have a private part when she starts mentioning or saying some words like, oh, my bum, my bum bum. You understand that? So it means the child has started noticing its his or her private part. But I won't be talking much about all the early stages. I'll be talking extensively on the teenage stage. That is what we'll be looking at most especially, but I'll quickly run through those early stages. So sex education is very, very important we do for our children. And I know the very aspect that seems to be very difficult for parents are what to say, how to put it, that will makes it not look, like you are exposing the child to what is beyond his or her age. So that is why we are here to look at the biblical way of educating your child, your teenage child. So, when is the right time to start the conversation with them? The right time is always for you to do it on a daily basis. Do it on a daily basis. Talk to your child every morning. For me, I make use of the early morning devotion, even if it's going to be a 5 minute talk with my children. I try to do that using the Bible as a way to simplify communicating with them. So I pick a verse in the Bible and discuss it about them and discuss it in a way they can relate with easily. So the right time to communicate this to your children, it's always during devotion in the morning or before bed at night. Before you sleep, try to, call your children together, speak to them about how their day went, and in the process, something will come up. You can link sex education with it that will not make it look abusive to them, which they can also relate with easily. Why do we need to sex educate our children? We need to sex educate our children because we are the best teacher that can teach them this topic in the right way. If you refuse to teach them, someone else is ready outside to teach them in the wrong way. So if you are bringing up your children in the way of the Lord, make sure you do it biblically and with the help of the Holy Spirit. Sex is actually a beautiful thing, but it is more awesome if it's done in the purity of the heart, if it is done with the purity of the heart. So our children deserves that awesome part of their sexual life. That is why we need to discuss this with them, most especially if they are approaching or they are at their teenage age. So let's quickly run through the early stages. From age 1, you can help help them to discover their sex organ. Right from when your child is a year one and has started, bringing out some words, mama, baba, papa, that is when you can help them to discover their private part. You touch their bum and tell them we, poo. That's a way of telling them this is the organ you use in we, this is the organ you use for poo. And by age 2 or 3, you let them know their sex organ by its original name. By letting them know, oh, this is your penis, this is your vagina. And by age 3 to 5, at this stage, our children are more aware of their body structure. So yeah, it's an opportunity for you to let them start knowing the value of what they have. At that stage, if you have create a kind of awareness for them that they must never expose what they have, they need to always cover up. And this is where most parents get it wrong. You assume they are just a baby and you decide to bait them just anywhere. Help them to be conscious of their environment when you are bathing them, when you are exposing their body, when you want to watch them. Make them know that they have to do this in a covered place where no one can see their body, because their body belongs to God and it also belongs to them alone. So the practical way to achieve this is by never bathing them in a public or open environment. After bathing them, make sure you wrap them with a towel properly. And always let them know their pants, their undies must always be worn at every time. Once you notice, oh, they remove their undies and they're walking around naked, caution them. Let them know their private parts must never be seen outside. It belongs to them and to them alone. So when they get to age 6, between age 6 and before their teenage age, you let them, since they've discovered their body, they are more aware of their body structure, then this is the time to let them start respecting their own body. Let them know that, oh, this is your body, you need to respect it. It needs a kind of self-respect. You have to respect your body. You understand? So, and this has to do with their mode of dressing. A boy cannot put on a short or a trousers and it's pulled down at one side of its bum. It's not right as a child that is being brought up from the Christian home. So, no sagging of any sort. At that stage, they are more aware that they need to, display themselves and look good. So their dressing is mostly part of their target. Sitting as a girl, even as a boy, if they are sitting in improper manner, correct them, caution them. This is how to. All these things are sex education. You don't have to be raw when speaking about this to them. It's just about societal value, instilling values into the life of your children. So now let's move fully to the teenagers. For the teenagers, they can be so difficult to deal with, and at the same time, they are easy to deal with because they are more like in the world of their own at the same time. They feel like they don't need anybody's help, and at that stage, they can fall into traps. So that is why we need to prepare them ahead for this. And making use of the Bible, one of the best, as in the best way to speak to your teenager about sex education is by making use of 2 Samuel chapter 11 upward. When David wanted to relax, he had to go to the top of his house to take some fresh air. And he saw a lady bathing probably in the next compound not too far from him. So use that verse of the Bible to tell your children, the teenager, to be careful of whenever they are alone. They have to take note of all these things. Even though they are teenagers, they are old enough to know what is right from what is wrong. But at that level, there are some things they need to take note of. If you don't call their attention to that area, they may not likely know and they can fall into trap, into sin. So let them know they should be careful of whenever they are alone. Tell your teenager you have to be careful. Anytime you are alone, be mindful of what you think about. Be mindful of what you think. Be mindful of what you process through your heart. Because, like they say, an idle hand is the devil's workshop. So, why David was looking at Bathsheba when she was bathing, he couldn't take his eyes off it. That is when the training of the early stage, letting your child when they are still a toddler, that protect your own private parts and don't enjoy looking at others people's own. You would have trained them ahead before they become a teenager, that they should take note. They should take care of their own private parts. They should cover it up and they shouldn't take interest in looking at another person's own. Even while your children are playing with one another, when children are playing with each other, you take note that the one children may likely, make jest of the other child's private parts. But if you caution them immediately, they will take note that it is wrong to look at another person's private parts. So, peradventure, if they now find themselves in that position at the teenage age, looking at another person's private, so it's going to be easy for them to snap out of that thought, of that sight, of looking at another person's nakedness. So all this training is very, very important. You can see the way I am saying it, it's not necessary for me to be raw. I don't need to be raw. But it's just a kind of instilling value into the life of your children. So you let them know they have to be very careful of whenever they are alone. Be careful of what you think about. Be thankful of what you do. Be thankful, be careful of what you see. So, back to the story of David and Bathsheba. After that, because David could not snap out of the vision, out of what he's seeing, out of the beauty of Bathsheba. While he was looking at the lady, he was thinking about how fair she is. He was thinking about how beautiful she is. He was thinking about, oh, how fat, how slim, how hairy, how this, how that. Because what his eyes was looking at, his brain and his heart is processing it. So they need to take notes and be very careful of what they do while they are alone. That is, you see, these are teenagers, they need help. Most of them need help, but their ego may not, allow them to come out and tell their parents, Mom, I need help. Dad, I need help. But if you make it a point of duty to on a daily basis, speak to them, it it creates a kind of bond and draw them closer to you. And you yourself will know when they need help. All right. So after that, because David could not snap out of what he was looking at, he ended up falling into the sexual trap. He had carnal knowledge of another person's wife. So let them know, if they peradventure end up falling into trap, they are likely going to be um they are likely going to continue swimming in that sin. So the best thing for them is not to even do it at all. What does that mean? If they should fall into sexual trap and lose their virginity, they are likely going to, it's likely going to be a continuous thing. So to run from it, don't even do it at all. And that brings us to the virginity of both female and the male. Because as times goes on, if you continue to read that second Samuel upward to the other chapters, you would find out where David's son had the canon knowledge of his own blood sister, and she had to put ashes on her forehead as a sign of mourning because she lost that virginity in the wrong way. So that is another channel for you to, speak to your children. Oh, look at the children of David. These and these are what happened. And the lady had to mourn because she lost her virginity in an unholy manner. So that brings us to the topic of virginity. And that is another topic for another day. For you to enjoy more of this teaching, please watch out for my next video. God bless. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you get notification of whenever I upload a video. Please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. God bless you. See you in the next video for the next teaching. I love you all.